Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Formations Goblin Setups. So we're having a look at every team available in Blood Bowl right now, whether it's the rulebook, the Teams of Legend PDF, or the expanded NAF teams, and we're putting together and talking through some example setups. So if you are going to be kicking or receiving with a Goblin team, we're going to talk through kind of some of the formations that may work for you, where to put some of those positionals, and why. So if you are planning on taking the Tier 3 challenge that is the Goblin team, or you're planning on destroying one at your local league, this video should give you a couple of tips and tricks as to where to expect players and why. So when it comes to Goblin teams, they are Tier 3. There is no way around it. Now, Goblins have changed in this edition. They used to be basically a Goblin team backed up with an arsenal of cheap star players. Currently, that is not the case. I imagine we're going to see those stars come in soon enough. But at the moment, you kind of end up with between 100 150 gold pieces ready for inducement. That is normally spent on bribes, because you're going to have those secret weapons. So the Goblin player itself is a really good player. Movement 6, armor 8 is really good. And it starts with dodge. However, strength 2 does mean that they are very good targets for a jolly good blocking. So while you can punch and you can dodge and you can run with goblins, they are going to get grounded pretty hard by repeated blocking. You can gang up, but you're going to get one-on-one quite a lot and you are going to lose that fight. So interesting team. Tougher than halflings, way tougher than snotlings and noblars, but they are still stunty, and they actually have stunty, so when they do go down, they go down ever so slightly quicker as well. Now, what the team does have is an arsenal of secret weapons that are just so much fun, and they're all really unique. Not even secret weapons, positionals, okay? We've got the Chainsaw, we've got the Fanatic, who are great at dealing damage. We've got the Bombardier, who is just great for a laugh, to be honest with you. The Hooligan is a superb player that just wanders around dirty playering and fouling and adding disturbing presence. And then you've got the Pogo and the Doom Diver. The Doom Diver is a great throw teammate element. The Pogo is a great solo element, and both of those can actually be very effective scorers. Add in that to 2 trolls who are trained trolls who can now vomit. The team got basically a little less exciting with stars, but a little more consistent on the ground, and that's quite interesting. So playing defense with goblins, the first thing we're going to have to talk about here before we even talk about positionals and where to put them is how are you managing your secret weapons. Okay, so on defense, if you are playing against a team that is medium to fast, try and avoid playing that Fanatic on defense. And quite frankly, if you're playing a team that is medium to heavy on the hitting side, it's also not great to play the Fanatic. The Fanatic is fantastic for you to have the advantage. On offense, the Fanatic goes right on the line, and once you've secured the ball and you're in a happy position, is the first thing you do. One, because it's so much fun. Just going for it with a Fanatic, knocking dudes around on the ground, like it's just one of the main reasons to be a Goblin player. However, there are few feelings in Blood Bowl that suck quite as much as having your Strength 7 ball and chain just 2-die wrestled to the ground before he gets the chance to do anything. So if you're defending, maybe leave the Fanatic at home unless you're willing to just risk it. However, the Chainsaw is a boss and is a fantastic defending player, okay? Nothing beats a Chainsaw Blitz. Their strength does not matter. Quite frankly, with +3 to the armor roll, their armor doesn't matter. And that's if you're blitzing. If you're going for a cheeky foul, it's even better. Plus guard now works on that as well. So as your trolls develop, if they don't go the strong arm route, they get guard instead. Troll knocks a dude down. Chainsaw +4 to armor for a foul. And if it goes wrong, you brought some bribes with you. So this is where that Goblin team kind of combos. Really interesting one. And it means that they're actually quite a scary team to play against. You're going to win, but it might cost you some players. So what we've got here is the anchor defense. Now normally in the anchor defense you are teeing up against a team that is stronger than you. Your goblins. Almost every team is kind of stronger than you. But what you can do is create a really tough front line. You do have to put a goblin there. Now some players will put the Fanatic in the middle, and like I said, it is risky, but if you do need to deploy the Fanatic because you don't have enough players for... this is the downside of secret weapons. If you don't have enough players to deploy 11 other players, putting the Fanatic in between those trolls, there are very few teams that can take on a Strength 5, a Strength 7 and a Strength 5 player tagged together like that. It's quite likely they're going to disengage, and if they do go for a brazen attack on your Fanatic and somehow get a good roll against it, whoever attacked it is going to end up in the base contact with probably 2 trolls. And that's okay for you, alright? The Fanatic is what, 80k? Most other players that are able to take out a Fanatic are probably going to be more than 80k, and you've got 2 trolls ready there to take a couple of 2-die blocks with Mighty Blow. That's alright. So this Goblin here is likely to get blocked. Your trolls aren't, probably, but this Goblin is likely to get a cheeky 2-die block. He's going to end up here or here, and he might die, he might not die. He might not. So let's pretend and assume that that guy's going to get eviscerated, because that's what linemen do. You've still got this guy here. So when you're defending, you've got this opportunity for this guy to always be in base contact with both trolls. If they don't take the trolls out, both of them have the power of friendship ready to go, so they can 2+ move here, 2+ move there, 2+ blitz, 2+ punch, 2+ throw goblin. So this setup also allows you to do 2 things. If they deploy in base contact with your trolls, these 2 goblins are pretty much going to mean that these trolls are good to go, and they're going to get good blocks. That's fantastic for you. They disengage from your front line. You've got a goblin there ready to go for a paratrooping mission. So if you're playing against a strong heavy team, if they don't commit to that front line, you can paratroop a dude over pretty easily. If they do commit to that front line, you can then start applying some of your strengths, which will be troll blocks and maybe a cheeky chainsaw. And that is our second wave of goblins here. So use the anchor if you're up against a middle to slow team. This goblin and this goblin here are blitz targets. If your opponent wants to go for a blitz, they may just try this goblin and disengage. They may just sweep around here and take a goblin out. If they do that, that's fine. If that's what they want to use their movement for, that's okay. They're going to be applying 1 or 2 players to doing that. Your core here is going to be your most exciting players. So we've got the Pogo there, who is great on defense because that leap ability means he can just bounce almost anywhere because he's got Pogo. Collect the ball, jump in for a 2-die up blitz. There's a lot of stuff that Pogo can do really well. And eventually jump up and wrestle is going to mean that you can just do that with the Pogo most of the time. The chainsaw, deploying him in the middle there, gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically coverage of the entire pitch. Well, the entire backfield, the entire sidelines. There is going to be no safe spot if you are willing to rush with a chainsaw. Now, running with scissors is dangerous, running with a chainsaw is even more dangerous, but it's also very dangerous for your opponent. So in this anchor defense, if they commit here and fall back, you can bring some goblins up for some assists, maybe get a good block with this goblin if it's not dead, definitely get 2 good troll blocks, and then potentially a solid blitz with some goblins, or just a blitz with chainsaw followed up by a foul. You will start applying your own murder, because the targets they've got there are 2 goblins. Guaranteed that with 2 troll blocks and a chainsaw blitz, at least you're going to have 3 good targets, and actually that's good for you. Now, if you've got the Fanatic and you're having to deploy it on the line and it survives, it's going to have a merry little jaunt. The downside of the Fanatic is it's only moving 3 to 5 squares a turn, so you kind of only want to use it when you have to. If you've got a Bombardier, chucking it on the corner here means you're going to have to move these goblins out of dodge really quickly, but it can be really good fun to just chuck bombs across. I'm not a massive fan of the Bombardier, it tends to be quite risky, and now they've nerfed Hail Mary, it gets a little bit less attractive, but sticking a Bombardier on the edge is going to get him blitzed. Sticking him here is actually, no one's going to swing around and blitz him, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've still got a reasonable range there to throw bombs in. Chainsaw in the middle gives you maximum chainsaw coverage, and this Pogo allows you to break through whichever way you need to go. If you play a strong front line and you don't want to throw, you can just run the Pogo round if you want him to solo, or he just waits, and you've got very good safety coverage there with a Pogo and a chainsaw. Goblin moves in, chainsaw moves in, takes out the ball carrier, Pogo leaps in and grabs it. Now, against a more agile, more fast team, the Chevron defense is going to give you the most opportunity to make them fail their dice rolls. They're going to be able to blitz through no matter how you set up. If you set up in the anchor formation, they're just going to run around and cage you in. If you set up in the Chevron defense, they are going to have to combat you. And that's probably going to go well for them, but you are making them roll dice. So, the vulnerability of the Chevron defense is this angle down the middle. When you are goblins who are strength 2, they can also run in and blitz on the edge. What it gives you, though, is a solid front line. A troll and a goblin. 2 trolls and a goblin, sorry. And that means that this front angle, they are going to have to smash through 2 trolls and a goblin to get there. That's not likely to happen. If they come down here and blitz this goblin, they can't even create a path because of the overlapping tackle zones there between these players. Again, that's really useful. So if you're up against a team like Skaven or Elves who are going to go for a big breakout, the best thing they're going to do is blitz down the edge here. And what that allows you to do is make the most of 2 things. You've got a movement 7 pogo who can literally just wander about basically the entire pitch. You've got goblins who can support him, so you can go for a blitz with the pogo if you feel like the dice are better, but you've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pretty decent coverage with a chainsaw on both sides of the pitch. Now, what you're likely to see happen is if they want to go for a breakthrough, they are going to break through on the non-chainsaw side because chainsaws are less dangerous. If you are worried about that, what you can do is drop your guys probably 1 pogo and the chainsaw a couple of squares back or just a couple more squares into the middle. Now the downside is it will make it a lot easier for them to clear out 1 player and run through, but you're kind of accepting your fate and allowing that to happen knowing that you're going to have a good counterplay. As it is, you've got trolls here that are going to brawl, and you've got a mob of goblins on either side that should be able to do those cheeky 3++ dodges to give you a reasonably strong counter attack. Now, it's going to be very difficult to defend against strength 3 teams because you are only strength 2. Numbers and cheating is to your advantage. And on defense, the bombardier can be entertaining, but against a fast team, you're not going to get a lot of opportunity to use it. The chainsaw is superb, however, and that pogo is going to do great work. Don't necessarily recommend the diver on defense because you're not going to be throwing him all that often, and you tend to kind of want to save him for offense. He's kind of like he's your kind of stunt pilot when it comes to that. And if you're deploying in a defensive situation like this, that diver is probably going to be a target to get mullered because your 1-turn touchdown angle is the most fearsome thing for your opponent. So they're going to be worried about it. And talking about throw teammates and touchdowns, we've got a couple of offensive setups here for you. So goblins, movement 6 is pretty decent. Edge 3+ is pretty decent. The fact that basically everybody's got dodge is also pretty decent. And you've got some combo power for offense. Now we're going to look at the throw teammate setup in a second. What we're going to look at for the time being is a couple of mid-range setups for you to score in 3 or 4 turns, maybe. Difficult with goblins, very difficult to score with goblins. So what you kind of want to do is apply your strengths as much as you can. So we've got the Gobbo-T offense here that is named thusly because it kind of looks like a T. What you got in the middle is the Fanatic, backed up by a couple of trolls and a couple of goblins. Now what you're trying to do here is just own this line of scrimmage with multiple reserves to keep your trolls active. We've got a couple of goblins wide here to block all but the edge squares, so if there is a blitz effect, your opponent is going to have to run all the heckin' way around to really threaten you. That's okay, probably worth the risk. If they do, you've got this chainsaw in the middle here. Front line, you've got the Fanatic who is going to go on a wondrous little venture of carnage. You've got 2 trolls as well. And the thing is, what this offensive setup gives you is flexibility. You can just stand there and smash face. Okay, you can definitely do that. But starting with a diver in base contact with both of these trolls not only allows the diver to initiate friendship to activate those trolls to go smashing things, but also if you want or need to do a throw teammate with the diver, he's good to go. He's in position, and all you have to do is clear this line out. The Fanatic is going to clear at least one of those people away, and then what you're going to see is a goblin supported by a troll in that situation. That's going to be a strength 3 goblin. You can then bring your support goblins around here to get 2 die assisted, 2 strength assisted 2 die blocks by goblins to clear these guys out. And then you've got 2 free trolls. Honestly, the best thing to do is to Fanatic upwards, just see which one empties out. Use the troll to take out the other guy. The remaining marked troll can then choose to smash things. One of your trolls will be unmarked, and that guy can throw things if you need him to. Now we've got the pogo. The pogo is so useful. Quite frankly, Leap is great. He's got pogo, which means he's doing on a 3+, but that's not even the thing here. When you're playing offense, it's the fact that he is movement 7. He is movement boosted already. He is your fastest goblin, so having him down in the field allows you to swoop in and pick up. there's kind of two offensive strategies here when you've got those positionals. One is the pogo gets it and you're playing a rush game. The second is the diver gets it and you're playing a throw game. So you've actually got a really big collection circle here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so anywhere here can be basically collected by the pogo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, with a couple of go for it's to get it straight to the pogo if you do want to go for a throw. What's more likely to happen when it comes to the Gobbo-T offense is the ball's going to end up here. You can bring a Goblin to support. If you don't want to muller the line, you can bring that Goblin up, or you can just go maul in with a chainsaw. You've got Goblin and Pogo. Pogo can pick it up at the end of the turn. You should be deep enough in your own field that it's pretty safe. You can even leave this Goblin here to continue that shield. The chance of a blitz coming all the way down and taking you out in your backfield is pretty slim. Couple of other cool things about this setup is having this chainsaw just a little bit behind the line of scrimmage means that when you are doing this stuff here with the Fanatic upwards, with the Troll block, with the multiple assisted Goblin block as well, before you want to throw a dude with a Troll, the chainsaw's got very good range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to go and foul whoever the heck you want. You can even go for a cheeky blitz, and if something goes wrong, your chainsaw's in really good coverage position for the backfield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got the entire pitch covered for you. So that chainsaw is so important for goblins because he is an ultimate threat. I would never leave a dude where he's able to be blitzed by a chainsaw. Okay, not a positional anyway. Lineman, fine, not a positional. So if your opponent does want to try and break through, you know, if the Fanatic, if it goes wrong, if your Troll block goes wrong, you've still got this screen of players here. So you've got your collection team that can get it, and you've got that chainsaw to play linebacker on offense, or if it's going your way, then swoop in, go for a +3, +4 flat foul, and that's going to earn his wage. So the Gobbo-T offense, you've got a ton of movement here. You can bring goblins down to collect the ball if you need to. Ideally, you want to grab the ball, tuck it in here near your trolls and your goblins, create a little goblin cage, and then you can decide whether you're going to leap or fly to victory. But if you're up against a tougher team, a slower team, a team you're not too worried about them breaking into the backfield too soon on a blitz, you can basically deploy up front. So we've got up front spread offense here with goblins, and what you're doing is you're matching your opponent's defense here. You are applying your strengths, your Fanatic, your trolls, your chainsaws, maximizing your opportunities for throw teammate or just positioning, and really just going to be taking troll block, Fanatic, wonder fun time, and the chainsaw foul as well. That's what you want to do on offense. So the downside of this offense is that you've only got one goblin in the backfield, but that's what I mean. If you're up against dwarves, you're in for a tough time anyway, but they are not going to be running down here and stealing the ball off you, so you've got time. So one goblin can go collect the ball at the end of your activation. We are deploying ever so slightly wider here because you need to consider what your opponent's going to do if they know you've got a Fanatic. They don't know you're going to run it, but they're probably expecting you to do. So if they deploy wider, there's less chance of that Fanatic doing anything. Troll Goblin, each of those lines up wide against a lineman, and the Fanatic goes solo in the middle. What that allows you to do is go up one with the Fanatic, hit the dude. Do you get to choose where to push him? Yeah, you do. So you can pop him to one side or the other. Then, because you've got this safe zone either side now, where you're not stacked against the troll, you can actually go sideways again. So if you knock the dude here, you can then choose to go upwards again and try and take him on. It kind of just gives you a little bit more freedom to move around with your Fanatic. If you are all bunched in, you've got an automatic chance to hit a guy, but then you can't turn left or right because you are risking hitting your own troll, and that's not the most useful thing to do. By opening up your setup, you kind of can bounce here and then still wander around with the Fanatic, and you're going to have a bit of advantage and more opportunities to hit somebody. It's kind of more rolls, more safe rolls to hit less targets. But the cunning thing here is because you've got a goblin assisted by a troll, if the ball lands over here, this guy can sweep up, this goblin can push him in, and you can start farming these guys in towards your Fanatic. In fact, you could swap the troll and the goblin round and just absolutely open up with a troll block there, Fanatic has got 3 juicy targets to hit. The downside of that is you'll have to move this little support network here. So in this example, we've got a goblin supporting a troll, with the diver and the pogo next door. Okay, can't throw the pogo, so that's likely to be replaced by a regular goblin. In fact, I think I would do this, put the pogo in the backfield to use that movement 7 to collect it, and a goblin here. So you've got throw teammate, or just some really big blocks. Your goal here is to just be up front and apply your strength, which is your trolls, your numbers, and your secret weapons. So the fanatic's going to have a great time, those two trolls are going to have a great time, and the chainsaw is going to road sweep up via the faces of your opponents. But it's time. You're a goblin coach, you want to throw things, okay? Let's throw teammate with the goblin. So what we've got here is essentially a maximized capture window to get the ball to the diver to throw it. Okay, it's that simple. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares away from the diver with these edge goblins. Okay, if they need to go here, it's going to be 1 go for it. If they need to go here, it's going to be 2 go for it. So there's going to be some go for it risk. The throw goblin touchdown should only be your plan if you are trying to set the tone on turn 1 of the game, or it's turn 7 or turn 15 of the game. Turn 8, you just want to get this score done. Okay, so the pogo can deploy 1 deeper. Okay, so he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 handoff. So you can collect the ball. Basically, I think here is basically where you can go with your team. And you've got the goblins here as well. So you've got really solid area of capture for that ball. So wherever that kick is going, if it's going down here, you are SOL, because there's no way to collect that ball and to get it to the diver without using the throw action, without having to pass. Now we don't want to pass, because if you pass, you can't throw a goblin. What this does mean though is if the ball lands here, anybody can pick it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, pick up, 5, 6, go for it, handoff, pogo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, doesn't even need a handoff. You're going to have an opportunity and a network there to pick up the ball with as few rolls as possible. Now the great thing about goblins in Blood Bowl 2020 is that if you've got multiple rerolls, you can use multiple rerolls in a turn. So you've got that reroll to pick up the ball, you've got that reroll if your go for it fails, you've got that reroll for the catch, and then the really stupid, and then the always hungry, and then the throw test, and then the land test. You're going to need some rerolls, but it allows you to just get one more shot at pulling off the almost impossible. So ball lands here, you grab it with the dude, you run up there, you hand it off to the diver, and then you've got a couple of choices here. You can deploy on the line and get 1 extra square for your throw teammate, but you're going to have to clear out those tackle zones, or you risk having a wildly inaccurate throw and going the wrong direction. Or you can deploy everybody 1 square back. The diver and the trolls 1 square back. Makes it slightly easier to hand off to the diver, but it means you've got less chance of landing within touchdown range. Now, as the diver gets older, as the diver grows up and realizes its career, it's going to need sprint is going to be useful for it, jump up is going to be useful for it, dodge is going to be useful for it. There are some really useful skills there. And if it's got that, it's going to be slightly quicker. So trolls on the line, what you have to do here then is choose 1 troll to punch something with. That troll punches that dude, he goes up there. This goblin can then punch with 1, 2 assists and put him there. This troll is going to be our throw teammate boy in that situation, because he's gone, there are no enemy tackle zones, and then all the troll has to do is not roll anything less than a 5 for 3 or 4 dice rolls. So you will have to clear out the line of scrimmage if you deploy on it. It depends on what you want to do for that extra square. If you're happy to just hope that you roll 3, well, I suppose you're diving, so you just need to roll well on the D3 to swoop in the right direction. It's risky, but throwing teammate is always going to be risky. But if you set up like this, you've got a great network to catch that ball and get it to the diver, and then it just relies on 1, 2 good blocks and a whole bunch of throw teammate rolls. Goblins are fun. They are crazy. You've got fanatics and chainsaws, and it's just carnage. And when we see the goblin star players return, you're going to see the double fanatic setup again, which is just so unfair. It's beautiful to see. But for now, they're actually a pretty good ground game. And I guess one thing I haven't mentioned here is that you can always just give a ball to a goblin and hope it doesn't roll 1s or 2s, because with movement 6, a couple of rushes, all you got to do is get within 8 squares of the end zone. Stunty dodge is going to be a couple of 3++ dodges. and a couple of 2++s. As soon as you get within 8 squares of the end zone, it's just 3+3+2+2+ touchdown, and that's really elf level good. And that is the sneaky thing about goblins here, is their stunty is a weakness, but it's also their advantage. Works for the Black Orc guys, it's going to work for these guys too. It's just you got showier people to do it. People with wings, people with springs. It's a fun team. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Goblin fanatics out there, enjoy your team. Let me know how you get on. I feel like goblins are I feel like they're the least loved of the stunty races at the moment, and that makes me sad because the team is wicked. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you ever so much for watching. Happy throwing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.